I'll tell you, thank you for that introduction, and it's easy for me to come in on a rainy Tuesday with a positive attitude because I can tell Chancellor it's the most fun part of the job of Attorney General to come around and give people their money back. So the whole role that the statute, our legislators have called on the Attorney General to perform is what we do every day, is to make sure that people who are the rightful owners of now what's over $350 million of unclaimed property is returned to the rightful owner. Recently there's been over $12 million just from Allen County that have been brought in this past year. $17 million in unclaimed property for Northeast Indiana as a region. So we have a number of people that we've been returning their funds to, and again, the most fun part of the job of Attorney General is to bring somebody their check. And I always want to thank the legislators. You know, the Office of the Attorney General is a statutory role, and so all the authority that I receive is due to the work of the Indiana General Assembly. With that, I want to introduce State Representative Phyllis Pond from New Haven, who attends today and also has her own story about unclaimed property.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad to see the news media here because it's you that will get the message out. I had somebody call me not too long ago that said that there was somebody on there that I knew. And it happened because their bonds had been called in, $5,000 worth of bonds. They had evidently missed the notice, and it was in unclaimed property. And so they immediately called. So I would like to appeal to all those people who have a computer that to go down through the list, see if there's anyone you know. That person did end up getting about 20 calls in the first few hours that it appeared on there, but it wasn't very long until they had their money, they had their $5,000 from the Attorney General's office. So if there's that many people out there, they just don't know about it. This person did not know that those bonds had been called, and so they immediately got their $5,000. So I'm glad to see him up here and notarizing this and making it known to the community. And it's a happy thing to be a legislator to be able to do this.
Thank you, Phyllis. Well, this begins kind of a new flight of commercials. We've previewed for a number of people new commercials, a new, let's say, creative effort to go out once again and try to promote the fact that there's millions of dollars for millions of Hoosiers out there. So the word goes out that the Attorney General is looking for people who we are holding their funds. So they're the rightful owners. And again, we always look for the millions of Hoosiers that are owed millions of dollars. That's the oh yeah, so we're going to do a quick preview. Hopefully somebody's seen this new commercial, but as you can see by our theme.
There's funds for Fort Wayne, simoleons for South Bend, and moolah for Monticello. Welcome to IndianaUnclaimed.com, where the population is over $380 million worth of money in unclaimed property just waiting to return to its rightful owner. To see if you're one of them, visit IndianaUnclaimed.com, a free service provided by your Indiana Attorney General. It's Indiana's home to unclaimed property.
I love that. They didn't put in the part about the most fun part of the job of the Indiana Attorney General, but that's my own line. So with that, we'll take any questions.
You see the fund, I mean, is the number of unclaimed property, is that growing or shrinking over the years?
You know, it's growing over the years, and the statute allows the state to hold it for 25 years before it cheats to the state's use. So eventually it'll be used by the state for its general fund. But in the meantime, the legislature has kind of given me the task of trying to reunite people. So again, it's one of these things that the fund keeps growing and we keep aggressively going to. And I think during a down economy, it's almost the easiest way people can help their neighbors out. Look through the list, see if there's people that they know. We're always trying to find any new way. You'll see a lot of the internet ads are kind of the fastest growing, because right away you can click on the little Buck the dog. That's kind of the where is Buck? Yeah, there it is. So you'll see Buck the dog on your computer. You click on that, it immediately takes you. All you have to do is type in your name, your address, or you can look by city. If you type in Fort Wayne, Indiana, you'll see all the properties listing, and you alphabetically, and you can just go through the city listings and see how many people you might recognize. So plenty of ways to win. I was telling people earlier that, you know, in the Office of the Attorney General, we sometimes assign these things out as kind of a game. So it's kind of fun to go look for somebody in the city. You can reunite them with their property. So we'll make sure everybody from the media checks for unclaimed property. In South Bend last time, one of the reporters had $80-something from when they were a student in Bloomington. So
It won't tell us we owe money, right?
no, we haven't done that. And we're not. This is not a sting operation. We do this at the state fair every year, and some people are always saying, "I'm not wanted for anything, so I can go look."
Okay. Greg, 380 million plus, that's a chunk of change.
It is. No, and you know, some of the largest amounts come from demutualized insurance claims. So you used to have a mutual insurance policy. It got demutualized, so all those things turn into stock. So MetLife is a large, anybody who had MetLife over the years should look. People who purchased new cars back in the 70s and 80s, a lot of times they would take out a whole life policy as part of your payment every year or every monthly payment. And those policies all matured. If you paid for the car off, that is now assigned to you, and the car dealership may not have told you about it. So there's a lot of people that have properties that they never even knew they had.
What's the worst case scenario on this? You advertise, you know, 4 or 5 years from now, what eventually happens to the money? Where
It
does
might
it go?
go to the state legislator who says after 25 years the state is free to spend your money. But until then, you know, we do try to aggressively go out and try to reunite people with their funds. But again, you look at the state finances and you'll see that there's plenty of things that our state needs. It's a tough economy for state government as well as Hoosiers all over the state. So it'll go to a good purpose. But I think our first effort is to reunite the rightful owner with their lost property.
If I'm not mistaken, I think after 25 years, it either goes into the state's general fund or into the common school fund. This common school fund is a fund that schools can borrow from for buildings and things like that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Do you know how much rolled to the state last year?
Let's see, last year, maybe in the release, I see that 42 million was returned to Hoosiers in 2009. Let's see, you got a number for it?
We don't know, I don't have the number right now for how much was returned, so after it expired after 25 years, how much issued into the state, will we get that?
Yeah. Now that achievement amount is pretty small because 25 years ago these numbers weren't nearly as big. And we have been a little more aggressive on what's called the holder side. The companies that have unclaimed property, we've worked with a lot of their internal auditors and the accountants for tax preparers so that businesses are more aware of the fact that they may be holding unclaimed property. So we're trying to do a better job in each of the areas of this whole responsibility, which again is the most fun part of being Attorney General. So.
And the state really does want to give the money back through the Attorney General's office. So the state doesn't want to just keep the money. They would rather give it back.
All right, well, if there's no more questions, you're free to go and look for unclaimed property. That's why we're here.